Thank you, Bill. Thank you. And that's my leader just going off the stage. My wife, Luli, who I'll talk about a little bit later. Thank you, Luli. And Bill, thank you for that introduction. And most of all, thank you for all the great work you do as the Chief Executive Officer of the Foundation Fighting Blindness. Good evening, everybody. It is wonderful to be here with you. Thank you for supporting what is now a very exciting, increasingly successful research program of the Foundation Fighting Blindness to find treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases. Iris, congratulations. That was a great talk. Thank you very much. And thanks to Tally. That letter is terrific. Please extend our thanks to her and warm wishes. Also, Reuben, thank you. Thanks to Dan Bergstein, to the other two youth co-chairs, Noah and Brad, and to the entire dinner committee. Also, thank you, Daphne, for serving as our mistress of ceremonies, and we thank Terry and congratulate her, and we'll talk about her later as being our honoree tonight. As Bill said, along with a handful of other families, my wife Luli and I established the foundation in 1971. At that time, if you were diagnosed with one of these diseases, you would be told by your doctor to go home, learn Braille, and prepare yourself for a world of darkness. That's because the doctors had very little knowledge. Nobody had very much knowledge about these diseases, and in fact, they were in the dark. And there was very little research going on at the time to change that fact. So when, in my case, when I lost my sight, which I lost save for a little light sensitivity out on the periphery, which thank God I still have, I was faced with enduring a number of non-scientific therapies, pretty bizarre stuff, to try and save the loss of my sight or slow it down as it progressed, and also to try and restore it after it had gone. Of course, none of those worked, but that's why the foundation has always been dedicated to a scientifically based approach to its research to find treatments and cures. And I'm happy to say that over the last 42 years, the research we've supported has generated some tremendous breakthroughs. For example, we can now slow the progress of these diseases by a surgical procedure that implants a tiny protein-containing capsule into the back of the eye. We can now create a human retina out of human skin cells. Think about that. And that's just the beginning of stem cell work that's going on right now. As many of you may have read, recently the FDA approved a bionic eye called Argus 2, which involves a camera, tiny camera on the rim of a pair of glasses, and a chip that's been attached to the retina. And it allows people who are totally blind to see shapes, to see patterns, even fireworks. And for those people who have used it, they say it has really changed their lives. It was based upon, this whole technology was funded by us back 14 years ago, and more recently, as sort of a seed grant, or that's something we do all the time, but we provided some funding to get it started. Then once it was discovered and the technology developed a little bit, the people who had done that formed a company and since raised some $200 million to get to this far. And I'm happy to say it's a great, this product will be available to people for purchase this summer. So it's been commercialized, approved by the FDA, will be out and available. Very exciting stuff, and a great example of what we've been doing from the very beginning. We've been engaged in venture philanthropy for 42 years. Also, scientists and researchers we've funded have restored sight to more than 50 children and young adults through a gene therapy for a very severe disease known as Leber's congenital amaurosis, or LCA, which results in blindness either at birth or a few years after birth for children. This is another great example, I think, this wonderful accomplishment of gene therapy, of a platform that we're in the process of developing for people with inherited retinal degenerations. It's also hugely important to the whole world of medical research. And not long ago, the director of the National Institutes of Health highlighted this accomplishment in his annual presentation to Congress. So we go from stem cells to gene therapy to pharmaceuticals, and we've had major breakthroughs across all those fronts and across the fronts of all of the diseases that we are working on. But perhaps, well, and I should say that some of those are now helping people. They're already in the field, in the market, helping people. Some of those are in clinical trials right now, and many more breakthroughs are in the pipeline, going through the preclinical work and even earlier, that hopefully will be in human trials before long. Perhaps the most effective of these to this point has to do with age-related macular degeneration that Bill mentioned earlier. Based on foundation-funded early-stage research, a number of companies now have commercially available very effective treatments for people with the wet form of AMD, which affects more than 2 million people in the US and many times that number worldwide. And this disease allows the preservation of sight for these people. They're wonderful treatments, but they do involve the need for injections, monthly or bi-monthly injections into the eye to continue that treatment. So that is why it is extremely fitting that we are honoring tonight Terry Ardley Swift, because her company, Xcovery Vision, is involved with a new treatment, an oral treatment or a pill for this same disease, the wet form of AMD, which in early trials looks very promising, already is showing good results. And if her company is able to get FDA approval for this, it will mean a huge step change in the treatment possibilities for people with that disease. So we're very excited to be able to recognize her tonight. And we'll do that a little later. But let me just say, as all of you know, clinical trials cost a lot. They're very expensive, tens of millions of dollars sometimes for each trial. So we at the Foundation Fighting Blindness know we have to step up our whole efforts dramatically. We have to, in the next 10 years, in order to continue the momentum that we've got going, the extraordinary momentum we have going, we have to raise as much in the next 10 years as we've raised over the last 40. And as Bill said, that's $500 million or $500 million. We've been fortunate to raise that, but we're going to have to raise that or more to get to where we want to go. We need to do this for not only the Day family and the family, the McGee family and the videos and the Spiegel family and all of many families represented here tonight, but also for the tens of millions of people all around the world so they can have a future of brightness. That's something we're really dedicated to and we're going to achieve. And that's why we're having, one of the reasons we're having dinners like this here and around the country and other events all the time, so that we can communicate with communities like this one that understands and appreciates the value of research, of not only strongly scientifically based research, but highly targeted research that depends on milestone evaluations. So you only fund when you reach the milestone. Research that's highly efficient, that is very, very collegial and works where people work together, and research that is focused on finding treatments and cures. So let me say on behalf of the thousands of people who are involved with the Foundation's effort, my wife and I want to thank you all very much for being here and for supporting the Foundation. We hope you have a wonderful dinner. Thank you.